I'm here. Sorry about that, guys. YouTube has changed the live streaming process and had a little problem getting it working. Hopefully, you guys are here and you can all hear me. Let me know. Somebody let me know if you guys can hear and see me okay. We got 4 people here already. Am I all good? Awesome. Okay. All right, tubers. Well, you guys haven't heard from me in a while. Mainly, just been kind of feeling lousy lately, and I really didn't know why. Um, let me preface this by saying that this is pretty much a new problem that I'm having, but I'm going to go into a little bit of detail. As most of you guys know by now, I'm on a lifestyle change, as is Mom, and we've been doing this now for a couple of years. And yes, I finally got down to my goal weight of 220 pounds. I actually hit that 2 days ago. So was very happy about that. But I had an issue this evening, and I'll let you guys know that I'm not starving myself at all. This morning I had a good breakfast. Actually, I had to get up early because I drove Mom to the airport. She's in Mexico now, so everybody give a thumbs up for that. I mean, she's going to have a great time there. I know it for sure. I had my normal breakfast, oatmeal and with raisins and brown sugar and a banana, and my cup of coffee. And that was probably about 5 in the morning. Then came home, had a piece of toast with some peanut butter on it, homemade raisin toast, really good, around 10. And then around noon, we went to Nick's, our favorite eatery. And I had the the turkey dinner with stuffing, mashed potatoes, and collard greens. And then for dessert, I had a Freddy's frozen custard. So that was all around noon to 1-ish. And then around 2 o'clock, I came back home with Dad, and I wound up having another piece of toast. And I'm like, okay, that's good. The toast had a little bit of butter and some jam on it. And when you add all that stuff up, it averages out about 3,000 calories, which is where I want to be to kind of maintain the weight loss. Because now that I'm at my goal of 220 pounds, that's what I'm trying to do, is maintain the weight. So I actually went out for a bike ride today. I actually picked up a really nice bike at the garage sales this past Saturday. Actually, I got one and Mom got one, which I'll be showing you guys in a later vlog. So it was around 3 o'clock, and I went for a nice long bike ride. It must have been about 5 or 6 miles, not too much for me. So I got home. It was about 5 o'clock, and almost immediately I started feeling really, really tired. Not only that, I noticed I was kind of shaky, like really weak and tired and shaky. And I'm like, this can't be low blood sugar because of everything I've eaten today. I mean, heck, I ingested 3,000 calories, and a lot of that was high fat, high sugar foods. So I'm like, I'll give it a few minutes. I helped Dad out. We had to bring some things in from the trailer, and I wasn't feeling any better. I mean, 15, 20 minutes had went by and nothing. I mean, I was just still feeling very lethargic. So I said, you know what, Dad, let me test my blood sugar. Since I'm not a diabetic anymore, I don't have a meter, so I had to borrow his. Do you know that I checked my blood sugar and it was 57? I'm not kidding you guys. My blood sugar was 57. I was like, oh my gosh, what in the world is going on? And it's not like it was a long time. It had only been like 3 hours since I had my last meal or my last thing to eat. And I'm like, what's going on here? And then it came to me. Years ago, before I was diagnosed with diabetes, I got diagnosed with hypoglycemia, which is basically the opposite of diabetes. Diabetes is too high a blood sugar. Hypoglycemia is when your blood sugar is too low. And it occurred to me that that's what's happening now. Since I've reverted the diabetes, it's actually gone back to normal. And now that I've lost even more weight, it's going back down to that hypoglycemic range. And you guys out there have to be very, very careful about this, because if you are on the same type of lifestyle change that I am, this is a real risk. There are a lot of potential dangers when your blood sugar gets that low. Anytime your blood sugar dips below 60 milliliters a decibel, I think it is MDL, there are a lot of dangers out there. You could pass out. You could go into like insulin shock, which, believe it or not, is not just for diabetics. People can go in insulin shock when your blood sugar dips too low. If that ever happens, you may actually have to go to the hospital, because you can pass out. You can have seizures. There have even been people that have gone into comas into a coma because of their blood sugar being too low. And that's why I want to make this video, because it's not something that I've thought about for a long time. It hasn't really been an issue for me. But you really got to be careful, because you never know. And that's why it is always a good idea to get regular medical checks. I get my blood work done twice a year, and they check everything. We're not just talking about the normal, he puts a stethoscope on your heart. Yeah, your heart sounds good. He checks your lungs with the stethoscope, sticks a tongue depressor down your throat, make sure that your tonsils aren't inflamed. I'm talking about a good full medical workup. But not only that, you should always have a blood sugar monitor at home, a blood glucose meter, because it's something that can happen, again, even if you're not diabetic. And believe it or not, if you're not diabetic, a lot of people that aren't diabetic tend to be the opposite, like I am now, hypoglycemic. So this is just kind of a public service announcement to everybody out there. And I don't mean to freak anybody out. Don't freak out. But again, you have to know the warning signs. If you are doing the type of lifestyle change that we are, where you're drastically cutting down your calories, increasing your exercise, and then you're losing weight quickly, this is a real risk. So we'll go over the signs one more time. General fatigue, dizziness, shakiness, and just kind of weakness. Like if you go to try to pick something up and you feel like you don't have a lot of strength, those are the signs that you may have low blood sugar or hypoglycemia. And if that's the case, you immediately need to ingest some form of sugar. If you look in the thumbnail, I showed a bottle of Boost or Ensure. That's a great option, because most of them have enough sugar to bring your levels back up to where they need to be. So just stay safe, be smart, and if you feel that way, eat something. Just eat something. All right, let me get to some of these questions here. Evan Kioke, how is your dad? Dad is doing very well. It's amazing. He always surprises me how fast he can recover. He's actually up and about. He's able to walk up and down the stairs. His muscles in his back are still very, very sore, because when they do this kind of operation where they have to put in the screws and the rods, they actually have to stretch the muscles out manually with their hands. The doctors have to do that. So, whenever you manipulate a muscle like that in a way it's not normally moved, it's going to cause some soreness. So I fully expect him to be in recovery mode for at least another 3 to 4 weeks. And then full recovery is going to take about a year. But after about a month, he'll be able to resume normal activity. In other words, he'll be able to drive again. He'll be able to manipulate his body a little bit more. Now, one thing that he has to be very, very careful, he cannot twist. Like he can't twist his body like this. So when he puts shoes on, when you tie your shoelaces, sometimes you have your foot up here to the side and you kind of twist to reach down and tie your laces. He can't do that. He has to put his foot up on the wall and kind of go like this, or he has to have one of us do it. So he's doing well, basically a lot better than even the doctors expected. Sonic Wang goes, "You are so smart, Matt." Well, I try. It's always a learning process. Life, you're always learning in life. You never stop learning. Daniel Quimby says, down since January 1st, 90 days, I've lost 26.4 pounds. Awesome. And put on 15 pounds of lean muscle mass. That's what you need to do. As you start working out, cardio, a mix of cardio and a mix of upper body strength training is very important. And when you have that balance, not only are you going to start burning fat, you're also going to increase your muscle mass. In other words, muscles around your arms, your legs, hopefully your back too. Muscles, that's a problem for me. I can increase my muscles, but it takes a long time because I have very weak upper body strength to begin with. It's actually a condition that I've had since a kid. So I actually have to work out twice as hard as most people do. I'm going to read this. Daniel Quimby wrote, I did my lifestyle change on January 1st for the new year. I decided enough is enough and changed my eating and have been hitting the gym. I'm an active kid, but I've struggled with keeping my stomach. Yeah. And unfortunately for guys, that's where it usually goes, is the stomach. And a lot of that is because we ingest too much sugar as a society. And a lot of that comes from the fast food that we eat. And yeah, we're going to eat fast food, the majority of us, because it's fast, it's cheap, and it's convenient. But it's filled with salt, sugar, fat, carbs, all the junk you're not supposed to put in your body. So I'm not here preaching that you totally give up fast food like I have. I went to the extremes with that. But you can cut back dramatically. If you're eating fast food 5 times a week, cut it down to 2 times a week, and then maybe to once a week. There are also other better options. You guys got to think about it because we now have Uber Eats. Lyft, I think, has a delivery service. And what is the other one? I can't think of the other one. But if you're so inclined, you're better off ordering from an actual restaurant, like a local restaurant. And even if, okay, for argument's sake, let's say you don't have the extra money to buy food from the restaurant and have it delivered to you. Chances are somewhere in your town is a place like Nick's. You guys have heard me talk about our local restaurant, Nick's. It's actually more of a cafe. But they serve good, honest, home-cooked meals, home-cooked style meals at incredible prices. I kid you not. My dad and I went there today. I got the turkey dinner, which is turkey, mashed potatoes, stuffing, collard greens, and Dad got the deluxe skillet, which is a breakfast. Basically, it's got like 3 eggs on it, scrambled eggs. It's got hash brown potatoes, peppers, onions, all different kinds of meat on it, a biscuit, and we both got iced tea, which is included for free. And we got out of there, the two of us, for under $20. So chances are you'll find a restaurant like that in your area. And it's very easy now. You can go on websites like Yelp and Google reviews, and you can look at the menus before you even go out. Now, your best bet is to eat at home, because when you cook your food, you know what you're putting in your food. And I would go even one step further, is to say to bake your own bread if at all possible. I do that. I've pretty much given up all store-bought bread, with the exception of the occasional couple slices of rye, maybe once or twice a week, because I do like rye bread, and that's kind of hard to make at home. But I bought a bread maker. I've had a bread maker for years. I actually bought another one. It makes a 2-pound loaf of bread. and it's very easy. It comes with a recipe book. The two breads I like making the white, and I also make the cinnamon raisin bread, and it's so easy. You literally just put all the ingredients, wet and dry, into the little bread making pan, put it in there, you set it, and forget it, as Ron Popeil used to say. But there are a lot of things you can do. I mean, it's amazing when you take the time to think about all the junk that we put in our bodies. It really is. Oh, thank you, Max O'Neill. We have a 79p donation. I'll have to do the conversion, but it's probably about $1. Thank you very much. That's always appreciated. Evan Tioki wrote, I work for DoorDash. That's the other one. Sometimes for extra cash, it's very easy if you have reliable GPS. Yeah, and that's another thing. If you guys are looking for a job to earn some quick cashish, yeah, something like DoorDash. In my area, Uber Eats is very big. Daniel Quimby says, there is a new bread called 647 bread. My mom is on Weight Watchers, and it's only 1 point compared to normal bread, which is 4 points a slice. Oh, I'll have to look that up. I don't think I've ever heard of that before. Let me know where they sell that. I might be interested in trying that out. DoorDash. Yeah, I got it. I got it. I appreciate it, Max. You guys, I will never charge for my content. The way I look at it is it's a gratuity. You guys like what I'm putting out here. It's like when I go to a restaurant and leave a tip. Same principle there. It's Daniel Quimby said sold at Giant and Acme near me. We don't actually have either of those stores here. The closest thing we have opening up in Norfolk is a Wegmans. If you guys have ever heard of Wegmans, those of you from the Northeast probably know what they are. Eric Eric says you must be near me. Most people don't know what Acme is. I've never heard of it myself, and I'm surprised because I actually go through your guys' areas quite often. Amazon, yeah, really expensive though on Amazon. A lot of food items on Amazon tend to be really expensive. Hired Gun says, since January, I am down almost 40 pounds now in maintenance mode. That's excellent. That's where I am. That's where I'm at right now. Do I want to lose more weight? Maybe. Right now, with this blood sugar scare, I'm inclined to just maintain. I'm totally good with 220 pounds for right now. What I may have to do is just stay here, maintain until my body gets used to being at that weight, and then maybe try to drop a little bit more. Fun fact, I have spent numerous hours doing research online, typing in all my stats, my frame build, my height, my bone density, because I actually have all that information from my last physical. Trying to figure out exactly what weight I should be at, because I've had doctors tell me that I should weigh anywhere between 190 pounds to 230 pounds. So by some doctors' standard, one way or another, I'm overweight or underweight. But I took the average of what they were all saying, and it looks like a good ending weight for me is right around 208 pounds. So taking in the account that you never want to beat your ideal weight, because if you were to have a health scare, you wouldn't have any weight to lose. In other words, if you were to have a health scare and you were to lose weight, you would quickly become underweight. So I'm going to say that my ultimate goal is going to be 210 pounds. And I think that is a really realistic goal and a goal that I can actually maintain. So the way I look at it, it's 10 pounds. I'll be able to lose that. Now, bear in mind, the last 10 pounds that you're going to lose is going to be the hardest weight you'll ever have to lose in your life because your body is going to fight it the whole way. As it is, my body's been going into starvation mode as this video attests. So just realize as you're getting closer and closer to your weight loss goal, the pounds are gonna come off slower and slower and slower. Hired gun. I'm 5'8". I was 229 down to 190. Chart says 165 for my height, but I look good. I'm sure you do. I mean, that's impressive. Since January, I think you said. Let me look that up here. That's really impressive, dude. Keep up the good work. David New, I'm 5'11", I'm 165 pounds. I used to be 185. That is really good. So you are, yeah, you're good. You are right at what you need to be. On the BMI calculator, depending on which one you use, my BMI is about 27.5 to 27.9. For me to be what they would consider a healthy normal weight, I have to be at 25.9 or less. So I'm very close. But again, and I've talked a lot about this in the past, because of my bone density, my body's bone density, I may never be able to get down to what the BMI calculator would consider me a normal weight and be healthy. At that point, I may be unhealthy because I might be underweight for my body. Scott Keeley, I'm 6'5". Wow, Scott, I didn't know you were that tall. That's awesome. Was over 349. No, not sure what I am now, but I want to get to 220 to 225. For your height, that's perfectly fine. As a matter of fact, if you're 6'5", 240 or 250 is even a healthy weight, honestly. James King goes, 75 kilograms, but I'm starting to look a little fat now. Don't stress over it. I mean, I've said this, if you have a bad day, if you go out and eat a bunch of fast food or you go to a Chinese buffet and gorge yourself, just do better the next day. I mean, that's the thing. There's always tomorrow. And that holds true in almost everything, but especially for weight loss, because there are going to be those times that you're going to go out with your coworkers, your friends, your family, and you're going to have that peer pressure to eat. So the next day, just be all that much better. And if you're careful about it, after a day of eating a lot, do a fast. I mean, you don't even have to do an intermittent fast. Excuse me, my nose itches a little bit. Do a full fast. Don't eat anything for a day. Maybe just have coffee and a protein shake. Evan Kioke, does your lifestyle change help your libido and sleep? Have you ever taken melatonin? Oh, hopefully that answers your question. Yes, yeah, I do take melatonin. As a matter of fact, I've been buying these at Dollar Tree, and these work really good. These help me sleep at night. These are the Restores with a Z. Restful sleep. You get these at Dollar Tree, 14 of them for $1. I take 2 of them and I sleep like a baby. I do this almost every night. As for my libido, well, that's getting a little personal, isn't it? All I'm going to say on that topic is it hasn't really changed one way or the other. I don't want to delve too deep into that. It's just not, we're going to keep this family friendly. David New said, I've seen people who are literally 7 feet tall and have to duck under every doorway at school. He's scrawny at 190 pounds. Yeah, yeah, I definitely agree there. I'm glad I'm not 7 feet. I'm 6'2", and I'm actually on my mom's side of the family, I'm the runt. All the guys, with the exception of maybe my one cousin who's also 6'2", are taller. My uncles are, well, my one uncle passed away. He was 6'4". My other uncle, 6'3". And my grandfather that passed away also was 6'4". Daniel Quimby says, I planned out a meal at Buffalo Wild Wings with my friend for March Madness, and I knew I would eat bad, so I only had Buffalo Wild Wings that day, nothing else. Yeah, planning is everything. And you can even make smart choices at Buffalo Wild Wings. Instead of getting the boneless ones that are fried and battered, get the bone-in wings. Those are actually healthier. They are fried, but they don't have all that breading on there, which adds extra calories and extra carbs. I386 goes, I do not go to Chinese. A child was there once drinking from the fish tank with a straw. I lost the taste for Chinese since. Ugh. Yeah, I think I would too. Oh, thank you for putting that mental picture in my head. Oh, that's gross. That is absolutely gross. It doesn't surprise me though. I have a similar story. Well, I don't know if I want to. I don't want. No, I'm not going to tell you this because this is just a little too gross. David New goes, as far as coffee goes, you don't want to drink it on an empty stomach. I recommend eating yogurt and a banana in the morning. Interesting. My godmother does that. That's pretty much what she has for breakfast every morning. I'm an oatmeal guy. I love my oatmeal. I have oatmeal and a banana in the morning. And the oatmeal itself coats your stomach just like the yogurt would. But I take your point. I mean, there's nothing wrong with yogurt. I'm just not really a big fan of it myself. David New goes, it's madness. All this weight loss is madness. I bet you guys were thinking this was going to be an April Fool's joke too. Everybody remember it's April 1st. And I was actually thinking about doing one this year, but then I said, you know what? It's kind of a stupid holiday to me. A lot of people go overboard, and I'm not really a practical joker myself. So I said, let's talk about something really serious, something that can actually benefit everybody out there. Had guess what, April Fools? Hired Gun goes, it's the beers at Buffalo Wild Wings that have the calories more so than the food, I think. Yeah, I would say so, but you can even be smart there. Believe it or not, you can get not even always a light beer, but if you get something like a Miller Genuine Draft or Miller High Life, those are only about 80 calories versus the lagers, which can be upwards of 200, 300 calories each one. Do you think eating MSG in Chinese food is unhealthy? This is Evan Kioke. That's a very interesting question. Very good question. It depends on your body. I have absolutely no problem with MSG. As a matter of fact, I actually cook with it sometimes. I have a seasonal that has MSG. Doesn't bother me in the least. Now, I have some friends up in New York, some friends that are older, that they can't eat MSG at all. If they go to a Chinese restaurant, they have to make sure it has no MSG because if they eat something with MSG, they get massive headaches, basically diarrhea, sore stomach, pretty much the works. So it just depends on your chemical makeup. The best thing I can tell you to do is try it one time. See what happens. If you try something with MSG and you feel fine, yeah, it's perfectly fine to eat. It's salt. I mean, that's pretty much all it is. But if you eat it once and you get home later on at night, you start getting a headache or you start feeling nauseous, chances are you are of the body type that can't handle it. And then I would say, no, keep it out of your diet. Power Realm asks, how many calories do you keep your breakfast at? Uh, that's a hard question. Around 600 to 800 calories, and it depends on the type of oatmeal that I eat. 800 calories is if I eat the whole grain rolled oats, like most people have. 600 calories if I go with the steel cut oatmeal. And I'm actually adding in the fact that I put in usually either maple syrup and raisins or brown sugar and raisins, the banana, and then of course the coffee with the little bit of cream and sugar. But yeah, between 600 and 800 calories. And you got to remember, breakfast is your most important meal of the day. That's the meal that will keep you going. When your grandmother told you that, or maybe even your mother told you that. Well, they weren't lying, because if you skip breakfast, you're going to have problems. You're going to be lethargic at work. You're not going to have a good day. And that's because chances are you may not have eaten anything 3 or 4 hours before bedtime. So think about it. You're in bed, you sleep 8 hours, you're waking up, your blood sugar is low. And I'm talking about probably lower than it should be. And if you kick off your day with nothing or maybe just a cup of coffee, your body's going to burn that off within a half an hour. So yes, breakfast is very important. And I would actually go as far as to say make breakfast your biggest meal of the day. And as the day progresses, get smaller and smaller and smaller. Back 100 years ago, maybe even up to 50 years ago, that's what most people did. Their biggest meal was breakfast. Lunch was, a little bit smaller than that. And their smallest meal was actually dinner. It's only in recent years that the reverse has been true. And that actually helps you lose weight, because you don't want to go to bed on a full stomach. If you go to bed on a full stomach, you're not going to be losing any weight, because you're not burning calories when you're laying down, or you're not burning a lot of calories. Scott Keeley goes, I don't eat breakfast or lunch usually. Not good. If you have to skip a meal, skip lunch. Eat a good breakfast. That's not debatable. I mean, you can do your own research. Mayo Clinic, WebMD, they'll all tell you breakfast is important. Have a good breakfast. Skip lunch, or maybe have a protein shake or a protein bar for lunch, and then have a good dinner. But if you're skipping breakfast, lunch, and then having a dinner and eating at night, you can almost guarantee you're gaining weight. That is the fastest way to gain weight. Evan Kioki asks, do you include any seafood in your meals? Sometimes. I'm picky with my seafood. I am not a big fish eater. I like shrimp, crab, clams, scallops, and oysters on occasion, though oysters are probably my least favorite. I will eat fish very seldom, and if I do eat fish, it's got to be something like swordfish, salmon, maybe flounder. If I'm in a restaurant, if I'm cooking at home, I prefer cod or haddock. I won't eat tilapia. Don't ever eat tilapia. If you saw what a tilapia fish looked like before they kill it and wrap it up and sell it to you, you wouldn't eat it either. It's one of the nastiest looking things. It's actually very similar to flounder, and it kind of grosses me out to think I used to eat flounder when I was young. Ugh. Scott Keeley goes, my sugar is usually between 25 to 84 milligrams. Then you are hypoglycemic. Once your blood sugar dips below 60 mgs, you can be in some serious trouble. You want to keep your blood sugar between 70 and 90. And even a little bit higher, even getting into the hundreds, that's okay too. But you have to be very careful. Now, your body will get used to the lower blood sugar, but there comes a point, usually it's below the 60 mg level, where your body just can't function anymore, and you can be in some serious trouble. And that's what actually happened to me. earlier this evening. And yeah, just do as I say, not as I do. And now I'm going to do as I say and do as I do. Yep. Yes, Eric, I know you don't eat seafood. That's okay. My uncle doesn't eat seafood either. I-386 says, I will eat the small fried shrimp. Oh, I used to love fried shrimp. I used to get the popcorn shrimp at Red Lobster when I was young. Oh, that was so good. Nowadays, if I go to Red Lobster, I like to eat healthier. I get the wood-fired grilled shrimp, which is actually really good. I usually get that with the rice pilaf and the asparagus. My favorite meal by far. Trump says, do as I say. Well, I wouldn't do as he does, at least when it comes to food, because he eats like he's a college student. I don't know how he does it. An interesting fact. I'm not going to get into a big presidential debate here, but it was just something interesting I read about President Trump. He eats a lot of fast food, and the reason he eats a lot of fast food is he's worried about people poisoning the food for good reason. So fast food is pretty much not tampered with. In other words, it's made the same way by the same people. He can visit that same fast food restaurant and have a reasonable assurance that he's not going to get sick from eating that food. Now, is it good for him? Probably not. It amazes me that he's in as good a shape as he is for his age and the way that he eats. A lot of it has to do with genetics. Honestly, I know people that are 80 plus years old, maybe 180 pounds, 6'2", and have eaten total garbage for their whole life and maintain a healthy body weight and are still healthy to this day. You can do things to mitigate your risks, but at the end of the day, it's all genetics for the most part. It's what your mom, your father, your grandmother, your grandfather had. So if you want to see what your future holds, you got to look to the past. Oh my gosh, the cheese bread at Red Lobster, the Cheddar Bay biscuits. Oh, one of my favorites. I'm picturing eating one of those now. The saltiness, the cheesiness, the nice soft biscuity dough. Oh, they're so good. Back before I started this lifestyle change, I could have literally eaten 10 of those, and I had in the past. Oh, can't do that anymore. When I go to Red Lobster, I limit myself to 2. That's it. Scott Keeley goes, Mom works with a lady that's 96 years old. God bless her. You would never know she would pass for her late 70s. I do know somebody like that. My uncle's neighbor, Sandy, and I hope she doesn't mind me giving a shout out to her, but she looks about 20 years younger than she actually is. Sandy, if you see this, I love you and stay beautiful because you are. I'm telling you. She got the majority of the good genes in that family. Hired Gun goes, love seafood, but not a fan of Red Lobster. You know, Red Lobster is affectionately called fast food seafood for a reason. It's not the greatest quality. Their shrimp tends to be a little rubbery at times. Their sides that come out sometimes can be a little on the stale side. Me personally, I like going to local restaurants. There's a restaurant fairly close where I live in Portsmouth, Virginia, called the Lubskouser, and they have some of the best seafood that I've ever had. When I go there, I usually get the what is it called? The broiled seafood platter, which consists of a piece of fish, usually flounder, cod, whatever the fish of the day is, scallops, shrimp, and seafood Alfredo, which is basically seafood linguine with the Alfredo sauce, and either shrimp or scallops, and that's one of my favorites there. So if you're ever in my area, check out the Libscouser. It's on High Street in Portsmouth, and you know what? Maybe we'll do a food review from there one day when I feel better. Evan Kiyoki, do you ever eat raw sushi? That's the only kind of sushi I eat. Yes, I do eat raw sushi. I love it. I don't eat it that often though, and it's not because I don't like it. It's more of a cost factor. Sushi in my area costs a lot of money. Matter of fact, the cheapest place I can get it is the Kroger Marketplace, and I usually get the tuna roll, or the California roll, I think it's called, but it's got the raw piece of tuna, the avocado, the what else got in there? Raw tuna, avocado, usually some type of cream cheese like Philly cream cheese, and then it's got the rice wrap around it with the kelp on the inside. Really, really good. Hired Gun goes, when I lived on the West Coast, I worked in a fancy seafood restaurant. I cooked most of my own seafood. Man, that had to be good. I'm telling you. You guys are making me hungry. I don't need to eat anymore tonight. I actually broke my intermittent fast. And that's why I named the video this, because I may not be able to do it anymore. And I don't think I'm going to do it for a while. I actually noticed I started losing weight when I started eating a little bit more, say around 4 or 5. In other words, instead of stopping, for the day, eating for the day around 2 or 3, I pushed up to 4 and 5, and a few days up to 6 p.m. So, you know what? It's whatever's working is working. I'm going to keep doing it. Eric Brunhammer wrote, someone I work with got some grocery store sushi from ShopRite. They spent the rest of their shift in the bathroom. I remember ShopRite when I lived in New York. That was where we did a lot of our shopping. I actually liked that store, but you got to be really careful with sushi. Anything raw like that, you're probably better off going to a local trusted Chinese or Japanese restaurant versus going to a grocery store, or heaven forbid getting your sushi from a gas station. I know there's always that joke, the guy that got the sushi from the gas station and missed work the next day. Why? Because he was probably hugging his toilet the whole day. All right, tubers, I'm ending the live stream. I'm losing my voice right now. I hope you guys really enjoyed this. This was more of a informational video than an entertainment video, but nevertheless, really enjoyable. Thank you guys for participating. Please continue to like and subscribe. And as always, have a blessed day, everybody.